Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is me from the future. That's why I sound a little under the weather. And I don't know, this was not intentional, by the way. You guys will see later in the video. I'm probably gonna put this first because when I filmed the second half of this video, I was just in a rush and I wasn't giving, I didn't really start from the beginning where I felt like I should have. So I still wanted to post this video because I feel like when I started making kokedamas, there was a lot of things that it was so hard to get it right, you know? So I definitely want to make this video for you guys because I know I struggled to find videos on the easiest way to make them and what works best and just things like that. For the long term. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video. I wanted to post it even though I'm gonna be quite honest, I don't feel like this was a complete video of mine. So yeah, this is why the frame is so low. I'm sorry for that. But the second half of this video was me making a kokedama for my brother. And I put it in a cloche and I made a floating kokedama. The inspo was Benji plant. I will probably put the picture up here. But yeah, Benji plant definitely is the one that started that whole thing. He probably didn't start it, but it was definitely the first place I saw it. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make a kokedama. This is mine. This is a scindapsus. I'm actually not a fan of this. I'm thinking of trading it because I don't know, this plant doesn't bring me any joy. This looks cute and all, but I don't know. Or should I don't know. I feel like I should, I don't know. I just don't, I keep saying I don't know. I really just don't enjoy this plant. I don't know what it is about me that it doesn't tickle my fancy. So let me undo this and then I'll redo it with you guys. This is just for presentation purposes, I guess. I just want to show you guys how I made the kokedama in the video. I wanted to make this little intro part because in the second half of the video, which you guys are gonna see if you continue watching, I was not it wasn't a prepared video of okay, this is how you make a kokedama, then you put it in here. It was not a tutorial at all. That part is strictly just making or putting it in the cloche and trying to figure it out. And I definitely want you guys to see that so you guys see my confusion on this too and don't feel like you're the only ones, you know, if you ever are trying to do anything like this. But yeah, let's get into it. I was hoping to cut this off. I'm actually gonna undo this and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished unraveling it and honestly I'm pretty happy with what I saw. I like to do this every so often, I guess, to see how my kokedama's roots are going. And look at that juicy, fat root right there. And then we also got another one coming on the way, another aerial root, jeez, going into the moss. So that's always fun. But yes, the root system is definitely pretty small. I did see a little bit of root rot, which, you know, it's not as much as I expected. I know for a fact I have underwatered this at least 2 times, and with what I've seen, I'm pretty impressed. This plant is just really, I think I might keep this plant just because, you know, if it's not dying after I underwatered it twice, I think it's a sign that it wants to live. So but yes, okay, now for what you'll need. I always have scissors on hand when I'm doing this. Get some gloves if you're doing this. Trust me, get some gloves. I can't really show you guys the full-on experience of me doing this because trust me, it is ugly and I have multiple gloves on and I take off multiple gloves. Yeah, whenever I do kokedama type stuff, I make sure to get gloves, 2 pairs of gloves, and I make sure to get 2 little plates or whatever, little stations where I can just have my moss on one side and my dirt on the other, because usually, just trust me, it is a lot messier, and I wish I could give you guys that full-on experience right now, but I can't. because it's just kind of already set here. But yeah, the moss, or the dirt, I should say, the soil, whatever, was surprisingly held up really well. Like, I peeled off the moss and it was just like holding itself together. So yeah, I do have some luck in here, which is surprising. I didn't think I was gonna get that to fit. I might, I don't know, I kind of want to put some more pumice in here just to give it a little more aeration, so I might do that. Be right back. Okay, so I have my little amendments here, and I just want to give you guys, I'm going to start off by giving you guys some tips, because what I will see is a lot of people will, like with all the videos that I watched, a lot of people would just use like almost pure soil. Like I wasn't seeing any like aeration going on in the soil. So also another thing, you can just full on use moss. That's another thing. You do not have to do what I'm doing. Unless you want to, then of course, like by all means go ahead. But you do not have to use soil inside. One thing that is definitely like 10 times easier is just going in with straight up moss. I don't know if I should actually do that with this one. I don't know. Should I? I don't know. I think I'm gonna hold off on that because I definitely do have this, you know, beautiful mix here. But yeah, for the videos when I first was looking into how to make these, the videos were just all people using like pure soil, like almost no perlite, no like pumice, nothing, no orchid bark. It was like a muddy, you had to just make it into a muddy texture. So what I am using, yes, this is soil, but it is mostly sphagnum. And the reason for that is because it just holds itself together a lot better than soil would with like the amendments in it, if that makes sense. So like if I did soil with orchid bark, perlite, like all of that in the mix, it does not compact well. So what I did is I just added sphagnum into my mix, and I still get those amendments of like pumice. Like I do have pumice in here, I have leca, you know. And yeah, this just allows me to get that aeration that I want in the soil still. I don't think I have any, oh yes I do, I was about to say, I don't think I have any charcoal in here. I'm actually gonna break this. But yeah, you can use whatever you want. I've even like done like my regular soil mix, like with a whole bunch of orchid bark, a whole bunch of like perlite, pumice, and the soil in there. Even though it is hard to get it to stick together, you can definitely do it. But how I'm doing it now is different than when I first did it, because when I first did it, it was not this clean, you guys. Like, by all means, do not expect it to be this clean. Like, I definitely had, like, mud all in my hands, all in my fingernails. Like, it was just, it was a process, and it's definitely, like, as you make more, you sort of get better. But, yeah, for now, I hate that I can't give you guys the real, like, experience of me making these, because it is not this clean. But, yeah, you're gonna need, let me get back to the materials. I, like, completely got sidetracked. But you are going to need soil or your medium of choice. It can be just, you can honestly, again, just do this with sphagnum. You can just do soil with like a little bit of perlite. The thing that I do not like about these is that you cannot get aeration. I think some plants that might be good for this on like a certain type of level is like Alocasias. I think Alocasias would love this because you can almost use like just soil on them and they will be happy as a peach. So yeah, what I'm using is some sphagnum with some soil and a whole bunch of, I think I just have like, I have charcoal in here. I have one little leca ball, and then I just put in some pumice just to add a little more aeration, since I did notice that we did get a little bit of root rot. So I do want to kind of keep that pumice like in the center, because I've noticed every time that I take this out, I always notice that these like inner roots get the root rot, not the outer ones. Like this one is just popping off over here. I'm definitely gonna save, I think I might end up saving it for a trade in the long run, because this plant just definitely does not bring me as much joy as it used to when I first got it. And maybe that's just because of how I display it. But I don't know, this plant just isn't it? I do love like the way that it looks so bushy. Also, I'm pretty sure this is sun stressed, or I caused it to get sun stressed, this newer leaf. And it is in a new spot. Haven't, noticed any new growth. But I mean, I'm not expecting the growth on these to be pretty fast, because I've heard that scindapsuses are pretty slow growers. But yeah, back to some tips. So what I actually think I need some water, so let me go get that. You're gonna need water, gloves, multiple pair of gloves, some scissors, moss, your medium for whatever you want the plant to be growing in. You can literally just use straight up sphagnum moss. I've said this multiple times. Kind of just repeating myself. And then you also need some twine. You can use twine, you can use fishing line. Fishing line just kind of gives it that like cleaner look. It just makes it look like it's like full on moss, like it's just like encapsulated. It's not really like, it doesn't really have anything on it. So yes, moss, of course your plant, you can't forget your plant. And yeah, here I have my amendment, my soil or my growing medium. So when you're doing this, you want to get the perfect mix of water to your medium, because if it's too watery, it won't stick together. If it's too dry, it won't stick together. So you kind of just have to find the balance. So I always like to put less. You don't want to start off with too much water, because then you're just kind of, using excess of what you don't need to. And you can always add a little more, or you can always feel it out. You can always, add more water, and you can't really take away. So yeah, again, you just want to get like a good, that kind of sticks together. I could definitely add a little more. This is why you want the gloves. Trust me, I hate this so much. Like it's getting everywhere. Oh God. I was trying to keep it clean for you guys, but you know what? It's not gonna happen. So I'm gonna add a little more water. This does have very diluted Super Thrive in it. And again, we're just gonna see how much it sticks together. I think that's okay. Like as long as, okay. As long as it's compacted of a sorts, I think you're fine. I think I am gonna add just a little bit more water. Honestly, I could just make this easier by just using the full-on moss. And I might do that, honestly. I've also seen people do this in a bowl. I could never get the bowl method to work. Like I tried it and it didn't really do anything for me. In fact, it just made this harder. So you could also try putting, like, the bowl method is you make like a cross or maybe like a star, like an asterisk with your twine, and then you start filling up the sphagnum, and then you like make like a little bowl with the sphagnum, and then you put your soil and your plant inside, and then you just wrap it up like if it was a present. And that way didn't necessarily work for me, so I just never really did that. You guys can definitely give it a try, and just, it's about finding what works best for you. I don't think there's definitely not just one way of making these. So, just find your middle ground of like what seems to work. Also, I think I'm going to try not to compact this too much because I think that was my culprit for the root rot. It's so weird too because I think it's just by overwatering because, and I say that because the only roots that are getting, you know, that root rot are the ones inside. So it would make sense, like the inner roots, not the outer ones. I kind of do want to mix this though. So yeah, now I'm just kind of cupping my hands and just making a ball out of the medium. I think with sphagnum, you also don't want to be too, you don't want to compact it too hard because then there will not be any airflow going in or out. So that'll just cause fungal issues. Did I just? Probably did. Okay, so now what I do, it's not really compacted, so I'm gonna just squeeze it a little bit. And then it'll kind of stay in this state. And then what I do is I will, and then what I do is I will grab my moss now. Grab my moss, and you just kind of want to pack it on top. Ooh, okay. Like, it's hard to show you guys, but I'm just packing the moss on top of all of this. And it doesn't have to be too compact either, because you'll compact it down later with the twine. So you want to make sure that you get everything, like even down here. I know it's kind of difficult. So now what we're gonna do is make sure it's still separate. We're gonna grab our other hand, form it into a cup, put it on top. Make sure your hand gets all of that moss in it, and we're gonna flip. And this is where the gloves come in handy, because when I would do this, I would have a glove for the dirt and then a glove for the sphagnum moss. And then I would like take off the glove, just grab the sphagnum moss, put it on, and you know, you wouldn't have to deal with this. So I'm just gonna wipe this. But yeah, this looks a little weird. Of course, you can form this all later, so it should be fine. I don't want to fix this because I feel like it's not positioned where I want it to be. So there we go. Okay, so here we have it. Ooh, here we have it. There's like little pumice falling everywhere, but it's okay. Here we have our half of a moss ball, and then we're just gonna grab all of this moss and do it all over again. You're just kind of placing it, you're not really compacting it yet. And I know I feel bad because I feel like I'm making this look so easy for you guys, but trust me when I tell you I did not get to this point without struggling for ages. So, you know, if you're struggling, don't be discouraged. Trust me, my boyfriend can freaking, like, attest to this. I was about to cry when I was making my first kokedama because it just would not stick together. Like, and I had, like, my headset on and I had, like, my laptop up. I couldn't, like, it was so hard for me to go rinse my hands and just, like, start over or, like, you know, do anything because I was just, like, I had my headset on. I had dirt. I had mud, like, all over my hands, all underneath my nails, and I just couldn't touch anything. Like, my whole setup is white too, so it was just like the worst combination ever. But yeah, okay. So now I've got all the moss on here, and it's okay if there's still like little windows of like where you see the dirt or like your inside your inside medium. And if you're using like just complete sphagnum moss, like no dirt, no amendments, anything, you could honestly just like pile it up into a ball in your hand with the sphagnum moss, and then once you have like the ball all ready, you just grab your twine and start wrapping. With sphagnum, it is so much easier. I have seen a Benji plant actually use just full-on sphagnum, so if you want to do that too, that's always an option. But I don't know, I like soil better. It's just something that I'm used to, even though the majority of what's in here is moss. Yeah, so now you got your ball, it's all covered in moss, and then I have the way that I have my, okay, I keep doing that and it's really annoying. Okay, so now I have my hand in the shape of like a palm, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab these two fingers and just open them up a little bit. It's kind of hard for me to show you because there's a leaf like right in the way, but I'm grabbing my index and my middle finger and I'm just gonna wrap this. Did I do this wrong? Yes, I did. Okay, you're not gonna wrap it, you're not gonna intertwine it, you're just, oh my god, the same piece keeps falling. You're just going to pressure. So I have my, it's so hard to show you guys. Here's the twine, and I just have my finger holding it down. And now you're just going to slowly start to wrap it around. Oh my god, you guys. And you can add the moss that's falling out too. I always like to do that because the moss will always tend to fall off where I need it. Okay, so now I've come to the end of my strand, and I'm just gonna grab, it's kind of hard to show this, but I'm just gonna grab the beginning piece that we left out and tie it onto the end of the twine. Now there's your moss ball, and you can still sort of shape it. I would recommend trying to shape it more when you're tying it, because then you're tying it to the shape that, you know, it's formed to, instead of just like this random shape. Because when you do this, you'll be left with pieces of twine like this. And if you don't like that look, like I don't really like that look, what I'll try and do is find the source of it and just pull it, and it'll just, you know, it'll be tucked away now. But yeah, after this, I feel like this ball is definitely a little front heavy, but it's okay. Now we're gonna grab our scissors, and what I like to do is sort of, I know Benji will cut the moss. You can sort of cut the moss to shape it how you want it. What I like to do when I'm using my twine is cut off these extra like bits of twine that are just like not latched on correctly. And boom, you guys, and there you are, Bob's your uncle. So here is the Kokedama. Literally like no strings, whatever. But in the piece that you're about to see, I did use the clear fishing line for this, just to make it look more aesthetically pleasing. And yeah, I just wanted to include this portion just so that you guys could see how to make a Kokedama. I didn't want to leave you guys like 1 foot hanging out the freaking door, like what are you supposed to do? Like I was watching over the footage and you guys are about to hear it, but I was like, yeah, you're just gonna need a Kokedama, this and that, or whatever. And it's like, okay, like if it were me watching that video, I would be like, okay, I'm leaving this freaking video. How do you make a Kokedama? Like start from, you know, step 1, not like step 3. So yeah, I just wanted to re-include this, and I'm sorry for the poorly put together video that you guys are about to see. I don't think it's poorly put together necessarily. It's just I was in a rush and I wasn't fully prepared. I did still try and include the information that I could, but again, that is not a tutorial. That is just my experience with trying to make a floating Kokedama in a cloche. So take what you will from that. And yeah, this is how you make a Kokedama. I just wanted to include this in here. I hope you guys enjoy this little segment, and please stick around for the next clip. First, honestly, you don't really need a cloche, but if you want that aesthetic, go for it. And secondly, you're gonna need your Kokedama. Now, I don't really know how to do this, but we're gonna figure it out together, okay? So this isn't really a tutorial. This is not a tutorial at all, because I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I do know what I'm doing, but not as much as you guys think I know, okay? But I have my mouse ball. I'm actually unwinding it to redo this. I was struggling earlier because I was trying to get the ties to be able to hang it, and it just wasn't working. So we're gonna try something different this time. I'm gonna have it be all one singular piece of this clear fishing line. Oh, okay, that's all piece. I'm gonna reuse that. I'm gonna have it be one long piece, so that instead, because literally earlier when I was doing it, it was like 3 different pieces, and there was a whole bunch of knots near the like stem of this. I should probably scoot over. This is like really in the way. So yeah, I'm gonna try to have it be just one piece because I don't like the way the knots look, and I tried covering it up with moss and it just didn't look good. It looked really unnatural. So I want it to look seamless, knotless, and just like nothing, just very clean and put together. I'm probably gonna try and reuse this string that I have, and I have 2 of these, so probably just gonna end up tying it together. Also, this is what I was letting my cat play with it. This is what I'm using. This is from like Hobby Lobby. I would recommend maybe getting a thicker string because I feel like this string, I got, what did I get? 0.6 millimeters. So what I would get is like a 1, because I feel like this is way too thin to the point that the weight of the ball sort of stretches the string down, and it isn't it. So yeah, I would recommend getting a thicker string. I wouldn't recommend going too thick because you also don't want to see it, or maybe just go thicker on the string that you're gonna hang it from. I'm just gonna keep double knotting until I feel confident on it. Oh, this is actually for my brother. Okay, now it ties. It is ridiculous. And now we just got one long string. So I'm gonna do it from this side. The problem with this is that this is not attached very well. It's not attached at all, actually. So I have my moss ball. It's not tied together, but the thing that I need to figure out, ooh, that might be a bad idea, is how long I'm gonna want this string up here. So I'm gonna leave a good amount, like taller than I need to. What I'm gonna do is, I bought these little suction cups that have a little gap for you to tie them on the end, and I'm gonna stick this inside of here all the way at the top, and it's gonna hang from this. But the thing that I did wrong earlier is I put the knot. We're gonna have 2 strings coming up from this and tying onto this suction cup thing. But the problem that I did earlier is I tied these strings on this on the same exact spot, so it was like crooked. It was like leaning towards one side. So what I want to do this time is make sure that I do it across from each other, so that it's not just supporting one side and not really supporting the other. So yeah, I'm gonna leave a long piece of string out, and it just depends from where you're gonna hang yours from. I feel like you could even do longer than this, but for me it's literally like 13 inches, I think this is. So I'm just gonna go with what I've got, and I'm gonna make sure not to get this tangled, and I actually might even put it up. Ooh, okay. Yeah, So another thing that I did wrong earlier is you want to try and get this string to be towards the stem so that it's not crooked, or so that it's not coming out the sides and going up. I mean, coming up the sides wouldn't be bad either. I feel like that would also make it more stable. But I think coming up from the center just makes more sense. So I'm going to sort of lay it inside of the stem. Just to get some more stability. And I'm going to go over that as many times as I can so that it stays in one place. I'm also going to tell you guys, so I had a little Alocasia black velvet pup growing for my brother so that I could make him a Kokedama out of it. It was already taking a while, and even he wanted it by the time he moved into his new place, and I was like, okay, that's good, perfect timing. I didn't start it. I didn't even do anything with it yet because I was waiting for my moss to get here. And it took a really long time for my moss to get here. And by the time my moss got here, my Alocasia black velvet was rotting. So I had to rehab it in water. It had no roots, no like root system whatsoever. And so I had to rehab it. And I felt so bad because it was like the worst timing. It was like as soon as my moss got here, the plant just decided to go down. And yeah, it was just bad. I just realized, how am I supposed to get this string to stay straight? Okay, so I might need a second piece of string. So don't do what I did. What I'm going to try and do is kind of create like a little box where I can tie the string onto. So without overcrowding the stem of this with string. I mean, it's kind of already overcrowded, but yeah, it was just really bad timing. I didn't really have anything to give yet because I was just waiting for the plant. And then the other day I checked it and it rotted. So I had to chop it and I put it in my prop box, and it was really bad timing, and it sucked. Like it really did suck. And so yeah, I chopped it, I put it in my prop box, and it's like this little end of like a rhizome or whatever I think it's called. And so yeah, I just felt kind of crappy for causing that. Not even causing it. Maybe I did cause it unintentionally, but yeah, I just felt really bad. And so today I went to the plant store, and usually they have like Alocasia black velvets there. Usually they have black velvets there, like in like bigger black velvets, and then inside of the black velvet there will be like a little pup on the outside. So I was planning on just asking the owner if I could just get a pup, not the whole plant. And then I get there and they had these for sale, like separately. And I was like I was so happy. Like it was literally perfect. It was really, really perfect. Like literally couldn't have been more perfect. Actually, maybe a little bit. I wish there was a smaller plant there because this one did not fit in the cloche. But I mean, it's okay. I can just put my scindapsus in there. But yeah, so yeah, they had separate Alocasia black velvets, and I was so freaking happy because like finally I don't have to make my brother wait anymore. Now I'm just struggling with how to get this to be stable. And then I also had to place a curbside pickup order for Michael's, because at Hobby Lobby I could not find the cloches. Like I could not find any cloche whatsoever. Like I asked where the glass section was, and they sent me to one that had like, it was like a whole bunch of like jars and stuff, and it wasn't really any like open stuff like this. I got my bigger cloche, the one that I got for like $12. I got it at Hobby Lobby. So, oh, I just scratched it. So, you know, I was like, oh, I could just get another one here and it'll be perfect. Like, it'll be fine. And I get there and I just, see, look, I love this. you cannot see, earlier when I was doing this and I tied it, it would like pick up and you could see where I would tie it off. So this you cannot see. Honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just stick it in there like this, because I feel like even this looks fine. Should I? I mean, it's not too crooked. I think I'm gonna. Why not? So, I'm gonna chop that. This looks so good, and it's gonna go in here. And it's gonna be so happy because it's literally a humidity dome. I got really sad though because the one that I was gonna give my brother came with this marble stand for it. And then this one, the one that I got, this one's longer. Like this one, I'm actually gonna go get it so I can show you guys the size difference. So this was the one I wanted to squish this thing in here. Like this would have grown out of it so fast. Oh, you guys can't see it because of the glare. But this would have grown out of it so freaking fast. It is not even funny. So, you know, I'm kind of glad I didn't go with this one. I can just use this for my personal stuff. But yeah, this is the stand that this comes with. And it's a marble, like it's like a rock, like literally a rock. And I was like, ooh, maybe since they're the same diameter, circumference, I don't know, okay? But since they're the same inches, they're the same width, maybe this one will fit on here. And it doesn't. It like barely fits. Like if it was like a little bit wider, it would fit around this rim because it has multiple like divots. It would fit around this divot like perfectly, but it doesn't. And I'm sad because I really wanted to give him this one, because the one that I bought, it's like this wooden, it's really like, you can tell this is cheap. It is not heavy duty at all. And like the glue is like popping out. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't like this. But I mean, it is what it is. I can't really do anything about it. Might actually leave it in there. Yeah, this is what it is. I'm really happy that I got this. I actually need to clean the inside. There's like little scratches. And I think that's from the microfiber cloth. So I'll be right back. So, I know I look a little messy, but it's okay. So I'm just gonna get some hand sanitizer. I'm too lazy, and I don't really like using Windex. When I use Windex for mine, it stayed on the dome itself. So when there was humidity, it was just like runoff. It was really bad. And since this has alcohol, I feel like it'll dissolve faster. So yeah, I'm just gonna put on some hand sanitizer on here, and I'm gonna pick this up. Now to tie it onto this suction cup. I think this is like the main reason why it went on so crooked, but we'll see. I don't really care what size it's at now. I'm just gonna tie it on here. I'm just doing as many knots as the string lets me. It is so cute. Oh, it kind of hangs low though. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it around twice. I am gonna shape this up a little bit, just because I don't want it to be too frazzled. Not frazzled, what am I saying? I don't want it to be like too scruffly on the edges. So I'm gonna chop this too. And let's put it in here. I'm really nervous. I'm gonna try to put it like right in the center. Oh my god. Okay. This, give me a second. It's really tall. I might lower it a little bit. Just so that it like brings your eye down. So I'm gonna wrap this around here. I think I'm just gonna tie it twice for now. Okay, I'm gonna try this out. I don't know if that looks good. Give me a second. Okay, are you guys ready to see this? I'm really excited. It looks way better than I thought it would in my head. I know Benji Plant has also done this, so I know this is a thing, but look at it. Look at it in all of its glory. I think I am gonna need to spray it a little bit. The thing that I'm also worried about is I don't want this wood to rot. But it kind of sounds hollow, so I'm like, is it plastic? Also ended up just hot gluing the string onto that. I literally took out my hot glue gun and I just put a little dollop. But yeah, I'm really excited. Another thing that was really challenging was trying to get little specks. Oh wait, that's not it. Where is it? Like there's little specks of sphagnum that will stick to the sides. Like this one has it all over the place. And it was really difficult to get them off. There's still some on there, like there's one right there. There we go. It's moving around a lot because I just put it down. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm probably gonna recommend for him to put some sealant or something on the inside because I just don't want that to rot.